All right, today is September 23rd, 2024. Welcome to Belloheart. Today we'll be talking. Today I'm actually going to pull up. I had an idea today. I wanted to pull up Chat GPT. I asked Chat GPT to do a resume for Donald Trump and for Kamala Harris, and I just wanted you guys to see what it came up with. So, the election's coming close, and we got to make a decision here. All right, back after this. All right, so I got my old ass glasses on. I'm getting old, dude. 48, man. All right, so before we get into the thing I wanted to show you guys, um, I saw this clip on, what's it called? On Dave Rubin today, and it was of Jordan Peterson talking about who he'd vote for. Now I don't know if you know who Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is one of the smartest people. I respect him immensely. I consider myself a highly intelligent person. I don't care what anybody says, and I respect Jordan Peterson. And if I was gonna have a therapist, I wouldn't let anybody be my therapist except for him, honestly. So that's saying a lot for me. And anybody who knows me and the way that I carry myself, I and how important intelligence is to me in psychology and emotions and analyzing people, um, would understand with that how much of an endorsement that is. So Jordan Peterson, I consider to be one of the smartest people in the world. He's his emotional analysis of people and behavioral analysis of people and how they and the deep meaning of religion and God and just people's beliefs and things like that is fascinating. He's a wonderful person to learn from, and they always say if you're gonna learn from people that are smarter than you, right? So I mean, there's not many not many for me left. You know what I'm saying? Just kidding. But let's see. Let's watch this real quick. Um, I'm bad. I do this all myself, so it takes a second. My God. Sorry, guys.
Well, if I could vote in the American election, I would vote for Trump. And I don't trust Harris. Now, do I trust Trump? Well, he was president for 4 years. Like, look, the best predictor of someone's future behavior is their past behavior. If you're trying to hire someone and you have documented history of their efforts in precisely the domain that you're attempting to hire for, and the evidence is clear and valid, you use that in favor of all other predictive, what would you say, predictive markers. So I think it's more appropriate for me as a clinician who knows the psychometric literature to point out that independent of Trump's personality, which tends, by the way, to be a relatively weak predictor of behavior, it's intelligence that's the best predictor. And then,
So intelligence is the best predictor of personality. So this is where I got the idea to run a resume for Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, because he's talking about that someone's resume, right? When you hire somebody for a new position at a company, and you do your resume. So what is a resume? A resume is basically a synopsis of their past accomplishments, right, and their past performances. So when we look at our resumes and we compare Kamala Harris to Donald Trump, which we're going to look at today, you'll see why I did that. It's because of this clip.
personality, we have a documented track record.
So as I said, took this from Dave Rubin today, and there's one more little clip of this. Let me see if I can find it real fast. Yeah.
People that used to think they were enemies.
So I would say, with regards to Trump, well, we know what a Trump presidency would be like, but there's something else to consider too, because you might say, well, that was round one and now it's round two and Trump is older. And although I think he's actually modified his behavior to some degree as a consequence of being beat up so thoroughly over the last 5 years, and although he's a bit defensive, he's also less blustery and more human, which I think is a big plus. But for me, the other thing that I've seen really switch that's really been positive for me is that Trump has pulled a lot of hyper powerful people together around him. Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, Robert F. Kennedy, most of whom would have been Democrats in anything approximating a sane and normal world. And so, you see, my sense is that somebody whose narcissistic impulses are out of control.
MAGA Avengers assemble. I made a video about this. I'll attach it below. Just because. Oh, like and subscribe, please.
Trump is a flamboyant and dominating character who likes the public light. So you think, well, does he tilt too far in the narcissistic direction? It's like, well, why would he share the spotlight with the rest of this crew? And the other thing that we should consider is that, look, man, I would vote for Trump if for no other reason than Musk himself has already agreed to head something like a Department of Governmental Efficiency in the U.S. It's like, okay.
All right, so, I mean, that's all you need to hear, right? And if you don't know who Dave Rubin is the guy who's on the screen right now. He's one of the YouTube channels I watch, starting to get information from, and also just because he has a really good he's a former Democrat as well, and has become Republican because of the insanity going on the left, right, and the progressive nuttiness. So I want to. Let me see if I can make this happen here. Okay, I think this is it, right? All right. So here we go. Can you guys see this? No? Hello? Let me see. Where the hell am I? Where did I go here? There I am. But I gotta come to the front here. That's why. Okay, so there we go. So anyway, my bad. So anyways, as you can see by the Kamala Harris resume, let me put my glasses on because I'm old as shit. Oh, my old motherfucker. Excuse my language. So Kamala Harris resume per Chat GPT. That's right. What I did is I said, please write a resume for Kamala Harris, and then I said write a resume for Donald Trump. So let's look at her. If I was going to hire Kamala Harris today, this is her resume, I would say as a professional summary: accomplished attorney, a lawyer, U.S. Senator, and of course, now we get into the labels. First woman, African, didn't take long. First woman, African American, South Asian vice president. Jesus. Over 30 years of experience in public service. So she's spent 30 years of experience in public service, people. Law enforcement and leadership roles focused on advancing civil rights, criminal justice reform, and economic equity. Sounds familiar, right? Known for advocacy in healthcare, immigration, and climate policy with a reputation for pragmatic problem solving and building coalitions across political lines. Well, I don't know what the hell that is, but let's see. Donald J. Trump, professional summary. Dynamic business executive, real estate mogul, television personality, and most importantly, 45th president of these United States of America. With over 50 years of leadership. 50 years of leadership, experience in both private and public sectors, renowned for managing large-scale projects, negotiating complex deals, and leading a successful presidential campaign. A decisive leader with a focus on economic growth, tax reform, deregulation, and foreign policy. Proven ability to engage and with diverse stakeholders and manage complex organizations, right? So, next. So far. So what do we want to say about that last one? We would say that, let's bring it back, right? She has, this is all new for me, this whole image slideshow thing, but I think it's working out. Anyway, 30 years of public service, so 30 years of living off the people, right? And promising things, and he has 50 years of leadership experience in the private, public, and private sector. He went from working in the private sector and being on The Apprentice, I guess is still private, right? Being in Hollywood, and then becoming the president. So he was only in public service as the president, right? So, that's pretty impressive, right? All right, next. Key accomplishments for Kamala Harris. First female African-American and South American, blah, 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 vice president, right? Okay, great. Led efforts on voting rights protection, advocating for the voting rights protection. And there's a disaster in the voting rights, right? Chaired the National Space Council, spearheaded initiatives to address root causes of migration. How's that going? Border czar Kamala, not doing a good job there, spearheading the root cause of migration. What'd you find out? Can you please let us know? Because I guess they're whatever you figured out, you didn't apply to anything. Advocate for climate change. And she presided over historic tie-breaking votes in the U.S. Senate and advanced key legislative priorities such as the Inflation Reduction Act, which is what is causing us a disastrous situation now in our economy. So far, I'm not. Everything is. It tells you right here on her resume all the things she's accomplished, which are not good. Root cause of migration, which is what, from Central America, which is the border, right? The border's a disaster. She was the border czar. Our immigration is a mess. We have millions and millions and millions of illegals causing migrant crime all over the country, thanks to her, right? And he says it right on her Chat GPT accomplishments. She figured out the root cause of migration. Well, she did a really fantastic job. Donald J. Trump's key accomplishments: 45th president of the United States, historic tax reform to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. Appointed 3 consecutive Supreme Court justices that right now are the key to holding this United States together right now. Okay, so this is something that doesn't get talked about enough. He brokered peace agreements in the Middle East, including the Abraham Accords, which, if I'm not mistaken, I should do more research, but I believe it's Abraham Accords was actually, hold on one second. Abraham Accords was between Israel and Saudi Arabia, right? Which is fascinating, and nobody talks about it, right? He had peace in the Middle East. What? Donald Trump, the warmongering racist that hates everybody and only loves himself? I mean, give me a break. You guys are all... Anyway, champion a pro-business environment, boosting GDP growth prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. I didn't write this. This is from Chat GPT. All I did was say create a resume. Initiated the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, a modern trade agreement, replaced NAFTA, prioritize energy independence, including the expansion of the Keystone XL pipeline, which is our pipeline that would have made America independent and would have brought down costs for all of us here in America. America first candidate, as we know. Handle unprecedented challenges during the COVID-19. Now, one of these things, we could argue that the warp speed and the COVID vaccine is a mistake, but considering the situation, I mean, if he's not aware of the deep state and their agendas, and he's not managing from that point of view, then he's just managing as a regular politician, and everybody and normal people thought the world was coming. There was a big problem with the pandemic, right? Anyway, so let's move to the next one. So let's see. Kamala Harris, United States Senator, California. Let's keep that in mind. California people. California's a disaster right now, right? We got the California. She's the United States Senator from California. She served on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Fought for, keep this in mind, I highlighted it for a reason. Fought for progressive policies on immigration. How's that going? Criminal justice reform, defund the police, and health care during her Senate. So everything that she's been involved in has been a disaster. She was the Attorney General of California, and then she was also the District Attorney of San Francisco. First woman and first person of color elected as District Attorney of San Francisco. And as we all know, and if you don't know, you should know, San Francisco is a disaster. There's shit maps, human feces maps on X you could find on Twitter, online, because it's just a complete, total disaster. One of the most beautiful cities in America has been wrecked. Donald J. Trump, chairman and president of the Trump Organization. And that's from 1971 to 2017. That's a pretty successful organization. 2021, the president. As you can see, I'm a Trump guy. If you can't see my shirt, these are the shady bunch right here, baby. You get this on officeattatum.com, the officeattatumstore.com. It's not my guy. It's not mine. But I bought it from him because he's one of my favorite podcasters. So, negotiated high-profile deals for iconic real estate properties such as Trump Tower. Oversaw the development of over 500 businesses and licensing agreements. Host and executive producer of The Apprentice for 11 years now. 14 seasons, increasing brand visibility for the Trump organization and generating significant revenue. So I believe that Hollywood tried to indoctrinate Donald Trump by you know, The Apprentice was successful. People liked it. You know, capitalism is capitalism, and if people didn't like it, they wouldn't watch it. So, but they were happy to have him in there, and they offered him 5 more seasons. But instead, he ran for president, and a lot of people came to talk him out of it, which is kind of scary, right? So, let's see, Vice President of the United States, Washington D.C. This is still professional experience. Collaborate with the president on major legislative issues. Oh, remember this. She collaborated with the president on major legislative issues, including American jobs, she's been hand in hand with Joe Biden, right, since the beginning. Keep that in mind. You could read this. I don't want to read through this. A lot of this is just repetitive information from the last section. U.S. Senator of California, advocated for health care. You can also do your own Chat GPT. Just go on openai.com and write up a resume, guys. Advocated for health care. We talked about this already. And interrogated executive branch officials during key Senate hearings, particularly during the impeachment trials of President Donald Trump. Dude, they're so dirty. Anyway, professional experience. 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump, led U.S. federal government and represented the nation on a global stage with America First policies. That's right. And we're still looking for America First. Remember that, America First. Enforced immigration policy reform, notably increasing border security, advocating the construction of the southern border wall. He built the border wall. You see it right here on the resume? And now the border is the biggest crisis because as soon as he left office, they overturned all his immigration policies on day one. And guess who was the border czar? Kamala. So let's go to the next page. This is Attorney General of California. This is their professional experience. Continued from January 2011 to January 2017. Oversaw the state's law enforcement agencies and litigation, representing the people, blah, blah, blah. Right? But remember, that's California. And District Attorney of San Francisco. Right? Disaster. President, we talked about this already. Let's move on. Education. Just so you know, in case, I just want to be complete here with information, in case you guys don't know it. Kamala Harris, she went to Howard University in Washington, D.C., got her bachelor's of arts in political science and economics. And political science. Anyway, and then she got her law degree from the University of California, Hastings College of the Law in San Francisco. Her Juris Doctor, which I'm not that intelligent to know what that means. I think it has to do with the law degree. And then Trump went to the Wharton School where he had a bachelor's of science in economics, I think, 1968. And then a Wharton School of Business in Philadelphia, right? Yeah. So, and then what's next? And these are just skills. So let's look at the skills real fast before I hang up. Before I get rid of you guys, it's been a while. Thanks for sticking in here, guys. Legislative policy, criminal justice and civil rights law, public speaking and media engagement. She's not a good speaker. She's a good memorizer and then speaker, right? We know that. Coalition building and bipartisan negotiation, foreign diplomacy and national security, and leadership and diversity and DEI. Leadership and DEI, boys and girls. That's the Kamala Harris skill set. And then Donald J. Trump to close us out, executive leadership and strategic planning. That sounds pretty good. Public speaking and media relations, negotiation and deal making. That sounds pretty good for a leader. Economic policy and business acumen. Crisis management. We're in a crisis, people. We need a good leader in decision making. Real estate development and management. Oof. Sounds good. Brand and market strategy. Guys, I don't know. Based on this resume and what's happening in our lives these days and making a decision, it's a pretty clear choice that Donald Trump is the choice and the person we need at this time. Not only is he creating a super team of Avengers, of good people who are crossing aisles to make the country better because they know we're in dire straits, right? And on the other side, you got the evil of the evilest establishment people, Dick Cheney, I think Bush, and a bunch of other former, establishment Republicans that were the worst of the worst, according to the Democrats back in the day, are now endorsing Kamala. And of course, we have the Hollywood elites endorsing Kamala. The Democratic Party is not the party of the working middle class person anymore in America. But I hate to break it to you, the left left us. It's time to wake up, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for tuning in to Belloheart. And hope this helps make a decision for the election. Just trying to spread some truth about Trump because the TDS is real, boys and girls. Thanks. Have a good day.